One of my favorite things about teaching is watching kids' eyes light up really big. And one way I really like to hook my students is by telling them that they're about to learn a big, cool, fancy word, like hello vocabulary lesson, right? Then I might say a word really slowly, such as numerator or denominator. And I watch their eyes like they get real big and they try to figure out what they mean, especially if it's a word that I know they haven't really been exposed to. Then I'm going to prompt them and ask them, what they think it means, which leads us to a discussion about fractions, which is exactly what today's video is all about. So today we're going to chat about fractions and the important parts of a fraction, which are numerator and denominator. So if you're ready, give this video a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive in and get started. So first things first, what is a fraction? A fraction shows equal parts of a whole or set of objects. For example, if we have a pizza and we cut it into 4 equal parts, each part is a fraction of the whole pizza. Now, depending on the grade level you teach and the standards that you follow, you might be required to teach different parts of fractions. For example, in first grade, they are only introduced to equal and unequal parts, halves and fourths. If you teach second grade, and if you're in Texas and follow the TEKS, you only teach halves, fourths, and eighths, while Common Core states teach halves, thirds, and fourths, so it's different. But also in second grade, the standards only require them to identify fractions in written word form, so they aren't really exposed to the term numerator and denominator yet. And writing fractions using a fraction bar, they aren't really exposed to that either unless you expose that to them early, which I highly recommend. And then in third grade is when they learn the fancy vocabulary words we're going to chat about today, which are numerator and denominator. So first, let's talk about what is a numerator. Well, the numerator, it's the top part of the fraction. It names the parts that are being identified or counted. So let's take a look at this example. 3 of the 4 parts are shaded. For students to write this fraction using a fraction bar, they're going to write the number 3, followed by their fraction bar underneath, and then the denominator. So what's a denominator? Well, the denominator is the bottom part of a fraction. It names the total number of parts being shown. So in this example, there are 6 total circles and 4 of them are shaded. To write the representation of the fraction, students would write 4 over 6, and the denominator would be 6 because there's 6 parts. Let's take a look at just a few more examples of a numerator and a denominator. We're going to take a look at this interactive notebook activity, and students had to match the written numerical fraction with the correct picture. So we're just going to take a look at the first one. Now, this rectangle, it is divided into 6 equal parts. 3 of them are shaded. 3 of the 6 parts are shaded, or you could even say 3 of the 6 parts are not shaded. 3 is the numerator because it is the number being identified. 6 is the denominator because it represents the total number of parts shown. Now let's take a look at one last example, and in this one, students had to write the fraction that represents the letters in their name. This is one of my favorite fraction activities because it can be so personal. So obviously, my name is Marcy, and I have 5 total letters. I have 1 vowel and 4 consonants. So 1/5 of the letters are vowels. 1 is the numerator, and 5 is the denominator. So there you have it, short and sweet. These are the parts of a fraction, numerator and denominator. Remember that the numerator tells us how many parts are being identified, and the denominator tells us how many total equal parts there are. Now, if you are looking for fraction resources to use in your classroom, check out some of the links that I have dropped in my description. I have activities and guided math lesson plans for 1st through 3rd grade. Now, you guys, y'all have a blessed one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.